Day 250, Daily Routine Sentences. Hello and welcome. My name is Steve Carter, and this is the Slow English Fluency Podcast for A1, A2 beginners. Welcome back to Day 2 of our incredible English learning journey together. I'm so excited to see you here again, which tells me you're serious about improving your English. That commitment and consistency is exactly what separates successful language learners from those who give up. You're showing me that you have what it takes to become fluent in English. Today, we're going to explore something absolutely essential for daily conversation. Talking about your daily routine. Think about how often you discuss your day with others. When someone asks, well, what did you do today? Or, what's your typical day like? You need to be able to answer confidently in English. These aren't just random sentences we're learning. They're the building blocks of countless conversations you'll have throughout your English-speaking life. Your daily routine vocabulary is incredibly powerful because it's universal. Everyone wakes up, eats meals, works or studies, and goes to bed. These activities connect us all as human beings, regardless of where we come from. When you can describe your daily routine in English, you're not just learning grammar and vocabulary. You're learning to share your life with others. You're building the foundation for deeper friendships and more meaningful conversations. I want you to imagine something exciting. Picture yourself 6 months from now, confidently chatting with an English-speaking friend about your day. You're telling them about your morning routine, describing what you had for lunch, and sharing your evening plans. You're speaking naturally and fluently without hesitation or fear. That person you're imagining, that confident English speaker, that's exactly who you're becoming through consistent practice with episodes like this one. In today's comprehensive lesson, we're going to master 50 essential sentences about daily routines. These aren't just any sentences, and they're the most common, most useful phrases that native English speakers use every single day. By the end of our time together, you'll be able to describe your entire day from morning until night with confidence and accuracy. Here's exactly what we'll accomplish in the next 30 minutes. First, I'll introduce you to 50 powerful daily routine sentences organized by different parts of the day. We'll cover morning routines, work and school activities, afternoon habits, evening routines, and weekend activities. Then we'll practice these sentences together through intensive shadowing exercises where you'll repeat after me and perfect your pronunciation. Next, I'll share an engaging story about a typical day using many of our new sentences in context. After that, we'll do guided speaking practice where you'll describe your own daily routine out loud. Finally, I'll give you practical homework assignments to help you continue improving throughout the week. Remember, I'm speaking slowly and clearly because I want you to understand every word and every sentence structure. This is slow English designed specifically for learners at your level. If you need to pause and replay sections, please do so without any hesitation. Great learning happens when you take the time to truly understand and practice what you're hearing. One thing I love about daily routine vocabulary is that it gives you immediate opportunities to practice. Unlike some English topics that you might only use occasionally, you live your daily routine every single day. This means you can practice these sentences in your mind while you're actually doing these activities. When you brush your teeth, think, I'm brushing my teeth. When you eat breakfast, think, I'm eating breakfast. This mental practice will make these sentences automatic and natural. Are you ready to transform your ability to talk about daily life in English? Are you prepared to learn 50 sentences that you'll use hundreds of times in your English conversations? Let's begin this exciting journey into the language of everyday life. Great. Let's move to the next step. Parte 2. Apresentação das frases. 5. 02 caracteres. Now I am going to introduce you to 50 essential daily routine sentences that will revolutionize your ability to talk about everyday life in English. These sentences are carefully chosen because they represent the most common activities and expressions that English speakers use to describe their daily lives. I'll organize them by different parts of the day so you can learn them systematically and use them naturally. Let's start with morning routine sentences which describe how we begin each day. I wake up at 7 o'clock. This tells people what time you typically start your day. I get out of bed immediately. This describes your action after waking up. I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. This is an essential morning hygiene activity. I take a shower every morning. This describes your bathing routine. I wash my face with cold water. This is another common morning hygiene habit. I get dressed quickly. This describes putting on your clothes for the day. I make my bed before breakfast. This shows you keep your bedroom tidy. I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. This tells people your typical breakfast time. I drink coffee every morning. This describes a very common morning beverage habit. I read the news on my phone. This describes a modern morning information habit. I leave my house at 8:30. This tells people when you typically depart for work or school. I walk to the bus stop. This describes your transportation routine. Now let's learn work and school sentences which describe productive daytime activities. I arrive at work at 9 o'clock. This tells people your typical work start time. I check my emails first. This describes a common morning work activity. I attend meetings throughout the day. This describes typical workplace interactions. I eat lunch at 12:30. This tells people your typical lunchtime. I work on projects all afternoon. This describes focused work activities. I take breaks every 2 hours. This describes healthy work habits. I finish work at 5 o'clock. This tells people when your workday typically ends. I study English every evening. This describes educational activities. I do homework after dinner. This describes student responsibilities. I attend classes 3 times per week. This describes educational schedules. Now let's explore afternoon and evening routine sentences. I go grocery shopping on weekdays. This describes essential life management activities. I cook dinner for my family. This describes meal preparation responsibilities. I eat dinner at 7 o'clock. This tells people your typical dinner time. I wash the dishes after eating. This describes post-meal cleanup activities. I watch TV in the evening. This describes common relaxation activities. I call my family twice per week. This describes maintaining relationships. I exercise for 30 minutes daily. This describes healthy lifestyle habits. I read books before sleeping. This describes educational evening activities. I listen to music while cooking. This describes multitasking activities. I clean my house on weekends. This describes home maintenance activities. Let's learn bedtime routine sentences that describe how we end each day. I get ready for bed at 10 o'clock. This describes beginning your nighttime routine. I brush my teeth before sleeping. This describes essential nighttime hygiene. I put on my pajamas. This describes changing into sleepwear. I set my alarm for tomorrow. This describes preparing for the next day. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. This tells people your typical bedtime. I fall asleep quickly. This describes how easily you typically sleep. I sleep for 8 hours. This describes your typical sleep duration. Now let's learn weekend and special activity sentences. I sleep late on weekends. This describes different weekend wake-up habits. I have a big breakfast on Sunday. This describes special weekend meal habits. I visit friends on Saturday. This describes weekend social activities. I go shopping with my family. This describes weekend family activities. I watch movies at the cinema. This describes weekend entertainment activities. I play sports with friends. This describes recreational physical activities. I clean my apartment thoroughly. This describes weekend maintenance activities. I do laundry every weekend. This describes essential household management. I plan my week on Sunday evening. This describes organizational habits. Finally, let's learn frequency and time expressions that make your routine descriptions more detailed. I always wake up early. This describes consistent morning habits. I usually have coffee for breakfast. This describes typical but not absolute habits. I sometimes work late. This describes occasional variations in routine. I never skip breakfast. This describes things you consistently avoid doing. I often listen to podcasts. This describes frequent but not daily activities. These 50 sentences give you the complete vocabulary foundation for describing any daily routine in English. Each sentence follows natural English patterns that native speakers use constantly. Practice them regularly, and they'll become automatic parts of your English vocabulary. Great. Let's move to the next step. Parte 3. Ejercicio de shadowing, 5,000 caracteres. Now it's time for intensive shadowing practice with our 50 daily routine sentences. This is where your speaking skills will really improve. I'll say each sentence twice. First slowly so you can hear every word clearly, then at natural conversational speed. After each sentence, there will be a pause for you to repeat. Focus on copying my rhythm, stress patterns, and intonation. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on clear pronunciation and natural flow. Let's start with morning routine sentences. Remember to speak out loud with confidence. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I wake up at 7 o'clock. Now you say it. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I get out of bed immediately. I get out of bed immediately. Now you say it. I get out of bed immediately. I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. Now you say it. I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. I take a shower every morning. I take a shower every morning. Now you say it. I take a shower every morning. I wash my face with cold water. I wash my face with cold water. Now you say it. I wash my face with cold water. I get dressed quickly. I get dressed quickly. Now you say it. I get dressed quickly. I make my bed before breakfast. I make my bed before breakfast. Now you say it. I make my bed before breakfast. Excellent. Your pronunciation is getting stronger with each sentence. Now let's practice breakfast and departure routines. I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. Now you say it. I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. I drink coffee every morning. I drink coffee every morning. Now you say it. I drink coffee every morning. I read the news on my phone. I read the news on my phone. Now you say it. I read the news on my phone. I leave my house at 8:30. I leave my house at 8:30. Now you say it. I leave my house at 8:30. I walk to the bus stop. I walk to the bus stop. Now you say it. I walk to the bus stop. Perfect. Now let's practice work and daytime activity sentences. I arrive at work at 9 o'clock. I arrive at work at 9 o'clock. Now you say it. I arrive at work at 9 o'clock. I check my emails first. I check my emails first. Now you say it. I check my emails first. I attend meetings throughout the day. I attend meetings throughout the day. Now you say it. I attend meetings throughout the day. I eat lunch at 12:30. I eat lunch at 12:30. Now you say it. I eat lunch at 12:30. I work on projects all afternoon. I work on projects all afternoon. Now you say it. I work on projects all afternoon. I take breaks every 2 hours. I take breaks every 2 hours. Now you say it. I take breaks every 2 hours. I finish work at 5 o'clock. I finish work at 5 o'clock. Now you say it. I finish work at 5 o'clock. Outstanding. Now let's practice educational and study sentences. I study English every evening. I study English every evening. Now you say it. I study English every evening. I do homework after dinner. I do homework after dinner. Now you say it. I do homework after dinner. I attend classes 3 times per week. I attend classes 3 times per week. Now you say it. I attend classes 3 times per week. Fantastic. Now let's practice afternoon and evening activity sentences. I go grocery shopping on weekdays. I go grocery shopping on weekdays. Now you say it. I go grocery shopping on weekdays. I cook dinner for my family. I cook dinner for my family. Now you say it. I cook dinner for my family. I eat dinner at 7 o'clock. I eat dinner at 7 o'clock. Now you say it. I eat dinner at 7 o'clock. I wash the dishes after eating. I wash the dishes after eating. Now you say it. I wash the dishes after eating. I watch TV in the evening. I watch TV in the evening. Now you say it. I watch TV in the evening. I call my family twice per week. I call my family twice per week. Now you say it. I call my family twice per week. Excellent work. Now let's practice health and leisure activity sentences. I exercise for 30 minutes daily. I exercise for 30 minutes daily. Now you say it. I exercise for 30 minutes daily. I read books before sleeping. I read books before sleeping. Now you say it. I read books before sleeping. I listen to music while cooking. I listen to music while cooking. Now you say it. I listen to music while cooking. I clean my house on weekends. I clean my house on weekends. Now you say it. I clean my house on weekends. Perfect. Now let's practice bedtime routine sentences. I get ready for bed at 10 o'clock. I get ready for bed at 10 o'clock. Now you say it. I get ready for bed at 10 o'clock. I brush my teeth before sleeping. I brush my teeth before sleeping. Now you say it. I brush my teeth before sleeping. I put on my pajamas. I put on my pajamas. Now you say it. I put on my pajamas. I set my alarm for tomorrow. I set my alarm for tomorrow. Now you say it. I set my alarm for tomorrow. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. Now you say it. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. I fall asleep quickly. I fall asleep quickly. Now you say it. I fall asleep quickly. I sleep for 8 hours. I sleep for 8 hours. Now you say it. I sleep for 8 hours. Incredible. You're building real fluency with each repetition. Every time you practice these sentences, you're training your brain to think in English patterns and your mouth to produce English sounds naturally. Great. Let's move to the next step.
Astia for parte. 4 Mini Historia Simples, 5,000 characters. Now I'm going to tell you a detailed story about Sarah's typical weekday, using many of the daily routine sentences we've been practicing. This story will show you how these sentences work together to describe a complete day. Listen carefully and try to identify all the routine sentences we've learned.
After I tell the story at normal speed, I'll repeat key parts more slowly so you can follow along easily. Here's Sarah's story. Sarah's alarm clock rings at 6:30 every morning, but she always wakes up at 7 o'clock because she hits the snooze button twice. She gets out of bed immediately because she knows she needs time for her morning routine. The first thing Sarah does is brush her teeth for 2 minutes. She learned this healthy habit from her dentist. After brushing her teeth, Sarah takes a shower every morning. The warm water helps her wake up completely. When she finishes showering, she washes her face with cold water because it makes her feel fresh and alert. Then she gets dressed quickly because she has a busy schedule ahead. Sarah always makes her bed before breakfast. Her mother taught her this habit when she was young, and she still follows it every day. She goes to the kitchen and has breakfast at 8 o'clock. Sarah drinks coffee every morning. She cannot function without her daily caffeine boost. While drinking coffee, she reads the news on her phone to stay informed about current events. At 8:30 sharp, Sarah leaves her house. She walks to the bus stop, which takes exactly 5 minutes from her apartment. The bus arrives punctually, and she arrives at work at 9 o'clock. Sarah works as a marketing coordinator for a technology company downtown. The first thing Sarah does when she arrives at work is check her emails. She usually receives about 20 emails overnight from international clients. Throughout the morning, she attends meetings with different departments. Her job requires constant collaboration with designers, developers, and sales representatives. Sarah eats lunch at 12:30 in the company cafeteria with her colleagues. They often discuss current projects and share ideas for improvement. After lunch, she works on projects all afternoon. Sarah specializes in social media campaigns and website content creation. She takes breaks every 2 hours to rest her eyes from the computer screen and stretch her muscles. Sarah finishes work at 5 o'clock and immediately heads home. The evening commute usually takes 40 minutes because of heavy traffic. When she arrives home, she changes into comfortable clothes and decides what to do with her evening. On Monday and Wednesday evenings, Sarah studies English because she wants to improve her business communication skills. She attends an online English class from 7 to 8 o'clock. On other weekdays, she goes grocery shopping or runs errands around her neighborhood. Sarah usually cooks dinner for herself around 7:30. She enjoys experimenting with different recipes from cooking websites. While cooking, she listens to music or podcasts about business and marketing. After eating dinner, she always washes the dishes immediately because she dislikes waking up to a messy kitchen. In the evenings, Sarah has various activities depending on her mood and energy level. Sometimes she watches TV, particularly crime dramas and documentaries. Other evenings, she calls her family, who lives in another city. She talks to her parents twice per week and her sister every Sunday. 3 times per week, Sarah exercises for 30 minutes. She follows online fitness videos in her living room because gym memberships are expensive in her city. On days when she doesn't exercise, she reads books before sleeping. Sarah loves mystery novels and biographies of successful business leaders. Sarah's bedtime routine starts at 10 o'clock when she gets ready for bed. She puts on her comfortable pajamas and brushes her teeth before sleeping. The last thing she does every night is set her alarm for tomorrow and check her calendar for the next day's appointments. Sarah goes to bed at 11 o'clock and usually falls asleep quickly because she maintains a consistent sleep schedule. She sleeps for 8 hours every night, which gives her enough energy for the following day's activities. Now let me repeat some key parts of Sarah's story more slowly, highlighting our daily routine sentences. Sarah wakes up at 7 o'clock. She gets out of bed immediately. She brushes her teeth for 2 minutes. She takes a shower every morning. She washes her face with cold water. She gets dressed quickly. She makes her bed before breakfast. She has breakfast at 8 o'clock. She drinks coffee every morning. She reads the news on her phone. She leaves her house at 8:30. She walks to the bus stop. She arrives at work at 9 o'clock. She checks her emails first. She attends meetings throughout the day. She eats lunch at 12:30. She works on projects all afternoon. She takes breaks every 2 hours. She finishes work at 5 o'clock. She studies English every evening on some days. She goes grocery shopping on weekdays. She cooks dinner for herself. She listens to music while cooking. She washes the dishes after eating. She watches TV in the evenings sometimes. She calls her family twice per week. She exercises for 30 minutes 3 times per week. She reads books before sleeping. She gets ready for bed at 10 o'clock. She puts on her pajamas. She brushes her teeth before sleeping. She sets her alarm for tomorrow. She goes to bed at 11 o'clock. She falls asleep quickly. She sleeps for 8 hours. Do you see how naturally all these sentences flowed together to create a complete picture of someone's daily life? This is exactly how you'll use these sentences in your own conversations about daily routines. Great. Let's move to the next step. Now it's time for guided speaking practice about daily routines. I'm going to ask you specific questions about your daily life, and I want you to answer out loud using the sentences we've learned today. This is your chance to personalize all this new vocabulary and make it relevant to your own life. Don't be shy. Speak clearly and confidently as if you're having a real conversation with me. I'll ask each question clearly and give you plenty of time to think and respond. After you answer, I'll provide example responses so you can compare and learn different ways to express similar ideas. Remember, your routine might be completely different from the examples I give, and that's perfectly fine. Let's start with morning routine questions. What time do you usually wake up on weekdays? Again, what time do you usually wake up on weekdays? Take your time to answer using our sentence patterns. Great. You might have said, I wake up at 6 o'clock, or I usually wake up at 7:30, or I always wake up at 8 o'clock. What's the first thing you do after waking up? Again, what's the first thing you do after waking up? Think about your actual morning routine. Perfect. Some possible answers. I get out of bed immediately, or I check my phone first, or I brush my teeth for 2 minutes, or I take a shower every morning. Do you have breakfast every day? What time? Again, do you have breakfast every day? What time? Tell me about your breakfast habits. Excellent. You could have answered, I have breakfast at 7 o'clock, or I always eat breakfast at 8:30, or I sometimes skip breakfast, or I drink coffee every morning. How do you get to work or school? Again, how do you get to work or school? Describe your transportation routine. Wonderful. Possible responses. I walk to the bus stop, or I drive my car to work, or I take the subway every day, or I work from home. Now let's talk about your work or study routine. What time do you start work or classes? Again, what time do you start work or classes? Tell me about your daily schedule. Great. You might have said, I arrive at work at 9 o'clock, or I start classes at 8 o'clock, or I begin working at home at 10 o'clock. What do you usually do during lunchtime? Again, what do you usually do during lunchtime? Think about your typical lunch routine. Perfect. Some answers. I eat lunch at 12:30, or I eat lunch with my colleagues, or I go to a restaurant near my office, or I bring lunch from home. What time do you finish work or school? Again, what time do you finish work or school? Tell me when your productive day typically ends. Excellent. Possible responses. I finish work at 5 o'clock, or I finish classes at 4:30, or I stop working at 6 o'clock. Now let's discuss your evening routine. What do you usually do in the evening after work or school? Again, what do you usually do in the evening after work or school? Describe your typical evening activities. Fantastic. You could have answered, I study English every evening, or I watch TV in the evening, or I cook dinner for my family, or I exercise for 30 minutes, or I call my family twice per week. Do you cook at home? What time do you have dinner? Again, do you cook at home? What time do you have dinner? Tell me about your dinner routine. Great. Possible answers. I cook dinner for my family, or I eat dinner at 7 o'clock, or I usually order food, or I eat dinner with my family at 6:30. What do you do to relax in the evening? Again, what do you do to relax in the evening? Think about your relaxation activities. Perfect. Some responses. I watch TV in the evening, or I read books before sleeping, or I listen to music while relaxing, or I talk to friends on the phone. Now let's talk about your bedtime routine. What time do you usually go to bed? Again, what time do you usually go to bed? Tell me about your typical bedtime. Excellent. You might have said, I go to bed at 11 o'clock, or I usually go to bed at 10:30, or I get ready for bed at 10 o'clock. How many hours do you sleep each night? Again, how many hours do you sleep each night? Think about your typical sleep duration. Great. Possible answers. I sleep for 8 hours, or I usually sleep 7 hours, or I sleep for 6 hours on weekdays. Finally, let's create a complete picture of your day. I want you to describe your entire daily routine from morning to night using as many of our sentences as possible. Take your time and speak for about 1 minute. Please describe your complete daily routine, starting from when you wake up until you go to bed. Outstanding work. You just described your entire day in English using the vocabulary we learned today. You're becoming more confident and fluent with each speaking exercise. The fact that you can now talk about your daily routine shows incredible progress in your English journey. Great. Let's move to the next step. What an absolutely incredible learning session we've had together today. I am genuinely amazed by the progress you've made in just 30 minutes. When you started this episode, you might have struggled to describe even simple daily activities in English. But now look at you. You've mastered 50 essential daily routine sentences and can confidently describe your entire day from morning until night. That's remarkable achievement. Let me celebrate everything you've accomplished in today's episode because your progress deserves recognition. You learned 50 powerful daily routine sentences that cover every part of the day. These aren't just random vocabulary words. They're the building blocks of countless conversations you'll have in English about everyday life. You mastered morning routine vocabulary including waking up, personal hygiene, breakfast habits, and departure routines. You can now describe how you start each day with confidence and detail. You learned work and school vocabulary that allows you to talk about your productive hours, including arrival times, work activities, lunch routines, and departure schedules. You practiced evening and bedtime vocabulary that covers cooking, relaxation activities, family time, exercise habits, and sleep routines. You completed intensive shadowing exercises that improved your pronunciation, rhythm, and natural speaking patterns. Every repetition made these sentences more automatic in your mind. You heard all these sentences used naturally in Sarah's detailed daily routine story, which showed you how this vocabulary works in real-life contexts. Most importantly, you practiced describing your own daily routine out loud, personalizing all this new vocabulary and making it relevant to your actual life. The beautiful thing about daily routine vocabulary is that it's immediately practical. Unlike some English topics that you might use occasionally, you live your daily routine every single day. This means you have constant opportunities to practice and reinforce what you've learned today. Starting tomorrow morning, I want you to begin thinking in English about your daily activities. When you wake up, think, I wake up at 7 o'clock. Repeat when you brush your teeth, think, I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. When you have breakfast, think, I have breakfast at 8 o'clock. This mental practice will make these sentences completely automatic. Here's your comprehensive homework for this week, designed to ensure you remember and can use everything we learned. First, listen to this episode at least 2 more times over the next few days. Each time you listen, try to repeat more sentences from memory without pausing the audio. Second, write a detailed paragraph about your daily routine using at least 20 of the sentences we learned today. Include specific times and describe activities from morning until night. Third, practice describing your daily routine out loud for 5 minutes every day. You can do this while looking in a mirror, walking, or even while doing household chores. Fourth, choose 5 sentences that are most relevant to your daily life and practice saying them perfectly. Focus on pronunciation, rhythm, and natural intonation. Fifth, try to use some of these sentences in real conversations this week. If someone asks about your day, use our new vocabulary to answer in English. Sixth, create your own daily routine story similar to Sarah's story. Write it down and practice reading it out loud until it sounds natural and fluent. The confidence you're building through this vocabulary will transform your English conversations. When people ask about your day, your work schedule, or your evening plans, you'll be able to respond naturally and completely. You're not just learning words, you're developing the ability to share your life experiences with English speakers around the world. Remember that language learning is like physical exercise. Consistency matters more than intensity. Practicing these sentences for 10 minutes every day is much more effective than studying for 3 hours once per week. Your brain needs regular exposure to these patterns to make them permanent. Every time you use one of these sentences, whether in your mind or out loud, you're strengthening neural pathways that make English more automatic. You're literally rewiring your brain to think in English patterns. Next week, in day 3, we'll explore food and drinks vocabulary. You'll learn how to order meals in restaurants, describe your favorite foods, talk about cooking methods, and discuss eating habits. We'll cover breakfast foods, lunch options, dinner ingredients, beverages, desserts, and restaurant conversations. This vocabulary will be essential for dining experiences and social conversations about food. But for now, I want you to feel incredibly proud of today's progress. You showed up, you listened carefully, you practiced diligently, and you spoke English with growing confidence. Those actions demonstrate the commitment and determination that will carry you to fluency. You're not the same English learner who started this episode 30 minutes ago. You're more confident, more knowledgeable, and more capable of expressing yourself in English. Every sentence you learn today brings you closer to your goal of English fluency. I'm genuinely excited about your English journey, and I'm honored to be your guide and teacher. Your dedication inspires me, and your progress proves that consistent effort leads to real results. Keep practicing these daily routine sentences throughout the week. Use them in your thoughts, write them in your journal, and speak them out loud whenever possible. The more you use them, the more natural they become. Thank you for spending these 30 minutes with me today. Thank you for your attention, your participation, and your commitment to improving your English.